Welcome back to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Last time we finished the first day of the trial, it was like 2 testimonies, and then we investigated. We found out a few things about like the crime scene. We had like a plan, and it seems like there was something weird with the floor. Maybe the floor had some magic cast on it or something. And then we made Celeste feel better about her dad, and that was that. Oh, and we talked to the killer also. I forgot his name. He's like a noble asshole kind of guy. Yeah, let's go. Hi, Mr. Mara. Cuthbert, how did the investigation go? I feel more prepared at the very least. I don't know exactly what happened, but I have a clear picture of the crime scene. What did you find out? So, there's still no clues directly pointing to another suspect. Have you been able to coax any new details from McCoy? She's already told me everything she knows. She's not the one who killed Flintheart, Mr. Mara. I'm sure of that now. You trust people far too easily, Cuthbert. You say that like it's a bad thing. It's going to get you hurt one of these days. People are never as innocent as they appear. Maybe in one of the later cases. Does that include you? What? Commander White had a lot of things to say about you. Should I have listened to him? What are you trying to say? I'm saying that I've never believed the rumors about you, not for a second. You saved me when I had nothing, and taught me how to fight against the nobility. Everyone told me that you were a criminal. I wouldn't be here right now if I'd listened to them. Cuthbert, I'm not going to stop trying to see the best in people. Celeste is innocent, and I'll prove that to everyone, including you. Sigh, you can be really stubborn sometimes, you know that. I get it from you. I seem to get a trickle out of her. I wish I could see the world the way you do, Cuthbert, but the truth isn't always what you'd want it to be. I know, but I'm not going to let that change me. I took a deep breath and readied myself. I was approaching the endgame now. All I had to do was move the final pieces into place and end this once and for all. The bailiff led Sus into the courtroom, and I followed closely behind him. Order! Hello there. Court is now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. The defense presented some unfortunate oversights made during the investigation. I personally saw to it that the crime scene was thoroughly inspected this time. I see, I suppose that puts my mind at ease, if nothing else. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense argued that a third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame the defendant. To clear any doubts you may have, the individual who discovered the body has decided to testify today. Ooh, this is the scene we saw at the beginning. Really? It was my understanding that they wanted to remain anonymous. The witness in question was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer. Very well, let's hear from this witness. It's kind of fucked up of you to because we saw a scene where you talked with them and you prepared a false testimony, right? Kind of fucked up. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name is Reginald Rudolph. I am a chauffeur. Rudolph appeared to be writing something in a notebook. His pen glided across the page, filling line after line within seconds. Mr. Rudolph? Forgive me. I was merely recording everyone present in this room. You're taking notes? I always keep clear and detailed records of my actions each day. I found that ordering the present naturally brings order to the future. What? With such detailed records, your testimony about the defendant must be thorough indeed. Actually, I witnessed much more than just the defendant. I saw the crime as it was being committed, and I wrote down everything that I witnessed. What? If what you're saying is true, why have you waited until now to testify? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. We saw no need for Mr. Rudolph to testify, however. That clearly changed after yesterday's trial. There's no way the prosecution wouldn't use eyewitness testimony from the start. There had to be another reason why he didn't take this stand yesterday. Very well, Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night. Witness testimony. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. Who was the client? We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:08 a.m. Okay, yeah. Word that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. That was when I saw the defendant lit by the blue glow of the dining room light. She had stabbed Flintheart and her sword was shining with magical energy. Did it take you 4 minutes to go into the building from having heard the sound? Because that's a bit the difference between 108 and 112. Lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. Okay, that's the contradiction because the lights were out, obviously. She pulled her sword from Flintheart's back. As she turned to face her, she stabbed him again in his chest. Wouldn't you be able to tell that from the autopsy that he was stabbed twice from different directions? She soon realized that I had witnessed her heinous crime. She dropped her weapon, still impaled on Flintheart, and fled the scene. Incredible. If everything occurred as the witness described, then I see no room for debate. Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable. I didn't remember seeing another carriage when I left to look for Celeste, but it was pretty dark. I could have just missed him. Celeste, did you see him when you left the tavern? No, I don't think I've ever even met him before. Does that mean what I think it means? We shouldn't jump to conclusions, but if he testified that you saw him, he's clearly lying. I just need to find out why. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. Should I just press everything for the funsies? Nah. This, right?
Objection!
Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim, and you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so? Yes, I could never forget such a grisly sight. That moment was burned into my memory. I see. Well, it's funny that you say that. What makes you say that? Deslam, because your entire testimony was a complete lie. What? You're accusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. Miss Dillon, the dining room lights are artificial devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. Those lights had no energy and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Yo, wait, I can explain. There's no need to witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. The McCoy probably lit a candle or lantern because of the blackout. No. Your detective boy said that they lit up the candles when they arrived. The witness clearly described the source of blue light. A rudimentary candle or lantern wouldn't meant to color like that. That too, I guess. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact time that this encounter occurred. True. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? Now, what the witness saw was some sort of magic. Due to lack of power, it couldn't have been artificery. It must have been an arcane spell. That's it. Witness, I was mistaken about something. Please allow me to revise my testimony. Mr. Cuthbert, what are your thoughts? If he thinks he saw something different, it's only fair to hear him out. It didn't matter. No matter what he came up with, I'd tear through each of his lies. Alright. I remember now, yesterday they said that Flintheart was skilled using magic, yes? I must have seen Miss McCoy channeling a magic spell. No. Because the spell emits a yellow light, not a blue light. The spell was called Mage Blade, wasn't it? That's it! The blue light I saw was created by Mage Blade. No. I see. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Mr. Cuthbert, you may proceed with your cross-examination. With pleasure. Man, I'm really speeding through this.
Objection!
Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized Celeste's Mage Blade? No, I admit that you probably wouldn't know what Mage Blade looks like. But that's exactly where you made your mistake. My mistake? Rudolph, if you are aware of how Mage Blade works, then you would know that the spell emits a yellow radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't possibly have been Mage Blade. This is ridiculous. What's the significance of seeing a blue glow instead of a yellow one? It's extremely significant, prosecutor. If the witness saw a blue magical glow, then you must have witnessed a different spell at the scene. Preposterous, you don't have any evidence to support that claim. A blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his notebook. He even mentioned the color in both of his testimonies. I find it hard to believe that he'd be mistaken about something like that. So what did you see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene, casting a spell that she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you actually see another mage at the scene? Well...
Objection!
Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, I will personally see that you're prosecuted. No, wait. That is quite enough of that. Can you just do that? Can you just show up at court like this? Garrick Pierce had stood up from within the gallery and walked to the witness stand, shoving Rudolph out of his way. He'd broken several laws with that one act alone, but no one moved to stop him. The bailiff looked to the judge wearily and awaited instruction. The judge said nothing. His eyes simply narrowed as he waited for Pierce's next move. Pierce, there is no need for you to take the stand. Nonsense, I have nothing to hide. I will not stand idly by while your case falls apart. It seemed that for the first time the prosecutor had lost control of the room. What is the meaning of this, Miss Tailwind? Sighed, this is Garrick Pierce, Your Honor. I am the Honorable Lord of Corner Haven and many other villages in that region. I'm afraid I must apologize. These misunderstandings have been entirely my fault. What do you mean, Lord Pierce? You see, Rudolph was not the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I was the one who saw that gruesome attack. I had my driver report the body so that I could remain anonymous. Are you saying that you had Rudolph lie for you? I simply dictated to him what I saw and had him repeat that to law enforcement. With what's been in the news lately, it simply wouldn't do for a member of the nobility to appear publicly in court. But alas, it appears the time for discretion has passed. Look, Pierce, regardless of your good intentions, this is a very clear act of perjury. I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. However, I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape justice. Please, Your Honor, allow me to testify as to what I saw that night. Very well, this is highly irregular, but I believe the court will benefit from your testimony. However, know that this misconduct will not be without consequences. Very well. Get a very large fine. From the look on the Lord's face, it was clear that he would only get off with a slap on the wrist. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I took a leisurely carriage ride around Cornhaven. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. That is when I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stabbing that poor man with her sword. Yeah, okay, can you provide more details? Garrett Pierce is a member of the nobility. I think this is when I got a press. That also means that he's a mage. Does that mean... There's no doubt about it. He's the only other person who could have left those traces of transmutation at the crime scene. He has to be the mage that we're looking for. Kill my dad. Sorry, this must be a lot for you right now. Don't worry about me. Just take him down. Yeah, I think I got a press because I don't see a contradiction right away. That seems like a strange way to pass time. Not that I believed him for a second. The witness's eccentricities are besides the point. What matters is that he was clearly at the scene. I wouldn't quite put it that way, however. I happened to be passing by the cavern when I heard a loud commotion. I'm guessing that this commotion was the argument between my client and the victim? One would conclude that, yes. We've gone over this point several times, but their voices were raised loudly during their argument. It's not unreasonable to say that the witness heard them from his carriage. Okay. If he was at the tavern entrance, that would mean he would be where the W token is. You saw the entire scene from the entrance? It would be quite dark considering that the lights weren't operational, even if my client was using Mage Blade at the time. Ah, of course, I'd forgotten that detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used my magic to illuminate the scene. You used magic at the crime scene? Yes, I remember it clearly. I conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. That same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought that Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all. If I had to guess, Mr. Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. Because of that, he made that detail part of his testimony earlier. That made sense. Rudolph was so sure that he saw a blue light. It would have been strange if he were lying about that. Which spell did he use to illuminate the crime scene? It was a conjure light spell. A magical light will be centered above their head. The color of the light is chosen by the caster and can be changed at will for the spell's duration. This mode of light provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster. Okay, that's clearly not enough, according to the diagram. Your Honor, if the witness used magic at the crime scene, then I'd like for his spell compendium to be added to the court record. I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. I agree, the defense will need a stronger reason to requisition the witness's spell compendium. Right you are, Your Honor. Your wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Oh, shut up. Do you want me to present this? I think that's what you want, right? Oh, not this. This. Yeah, because if you're here, like 5, 10, 15, 20, it's like 25 feet away.
Objection!
Pierce, you said that you illuminated the scene from the tavern entrance. Did you take a single step inside the building? Of course not. I remember it very clearly. I only stood at the entrance. Then maybe you can help me go over this map of the tavern. If we take a look at this map, that would place you right here, where the W is. Of course, I need to repeat myself. Well, I find it interesting that you eliminated the crime scene from all the way back there. I think this testimony would have been better if they didn't show you the map. Because when they show you the map of where he was standing, that makes it way too obvious what the contradiction is. I think it would be like I think it would still be fair if they didn't show you that and you had to figure out like, wait, if he was standing at the entrance, that would be too far. Considering the conjure light only illuminates an area within 15 feet of the caster. What? Pierce, conjure light doesn't behave like a normal light source. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster. You just said that. If you had said at the entrance, your spell wouldn't have shown you anything.
Objection!
The spell's range is irrelevant. We've already established that the victim would have been illuminated by Mage Blade. The witness clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That was why he cast Conjure Light in the first place. But what does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not? Well, I can answer that question for you, Your Honor. The witness did illuminate the scene of the crime. He illuminated it because he was standing right where it happened. Miss Cuthbert, what are you getting at? Your Honor, the defense would like to formally accuse Garrett Pierce of murdering Flintheart McCoy. Hold on for a moment, this is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room. And which spell would that be, Pierce? This specific spell escapes me. I'm not sure which one I used now that I think about it. You idiot. Well, maybe we can figure it out together. When you relinquish your spell, bring him to the court. He looks so short. The way that that court is drawn, it looks like his legs are cut off or something. Stillwind, say something. If you had listened to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You've made your bed, and I'll lie in it. Stillwind, you treacherous. Oh, he's angry. That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. With everything that has occurred, I'm afraid I must ask Lord Pierce to relinquish his spell companion to the court. Prestidigitation. Conjure light, conjure water, frost wave, and shape liquid. Okay, obviously this is, the liquid stuff is going to be with the bottle, right? Hang on. Can I see what these spells do? Or no? I only know their name? Okay. I don't know what prestidigitation means. Conjure light, conjure water, frost wave, and shape liquid. We did it. We got a spell compendium. With that, the case was as good as ours. Or was it? She didn't even try to stop me from taking a spell compendium. I doubted she'd do that just to spite Pierce. The caster creates a simple and harmless visual effect around their hand. The effect will last for as long as they maintain concentration of the spell. Wait, what does it do? What do you mean by visual effect? What does that mean? It's like an illusion? It's just like a light? I don't get it. Conjure water causes water to magically flow out of the caster's hand. This water will flow so long as the caster maintains concentration on the spell. Is it like a stream? Like, is it like a jet stream that can hurt people, or is it just like water that like drips out? Anything caught within range is hit with a blast of extremely cold air. Liquid hit will immediately freeze, and organic life will immediately enter a stage of hypothermia. Okay. Shape liquid. While concentrating on the spell, the caster can magically manipulate up to 10 liters of liquid and form it into complex shapes. At any time, the caster can choose to freeze the liquid and solidify its current shape. While frozen, the caster can also choose to make the liquid instantly melt. Okay, so did he like manipulate the liquid inside the bottle, make an ice pick and stab him with it, and then made it melt? Is that what he did? And then stab him with the girl's sword, with Celeste's sword? Your Honor, I've looked at the spells in Lord Pierce's compendium. Conjure light is the only spell that he can cast that would shed a blue light. It's clear that his testimony and many of his statements were false. This little brat, such insolence. Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Flintheart McCoy. I'd argue that this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant. Mr. Cuthbert, I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I will not pass a verdict just yet. There's much more we need to learn. What? That's not how it works. We prove that there's reasonable doubt. That should be enough to acquit me, right? You don't know how these trials work, Celeste. In a normal case, maybe, but the situation is different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide involving magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, the court will keep drawing things out. What? But that's not fair. That's just how our system works. The kingdom has always cared more about easing public tension than delivering justice. Are you serious? The court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. You have no choice but to give the Inquisition time to investigate Lord Pierce as a possible suspect. Really? We have another? Okay, no, okay. A possible suspect? The very idea of that is preposterous, Your Honor. What else did she have up her sleeve? Let's revisit the basic facts of this case. Flintheart McCoy was murdered using a blade with a transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me the spells that Lord Pierce knows? His spells are Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. Wait a minute. You realized it too, haven't you? The witness doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled to a solid object. Ice is solid, you idiot. It can't be right. Haha, you're right. You're absolutely right, Stolen. I think if you do a pose like this in a courtroom, they should just immediately find you guilty. Like, come on, look at him. I see. If all that is true, that would still leave the defendant as the only possible killer. But he was the only other mage there. It has to be him. But he doesn't know any transmutation spell that could be cast on your sword. We can't prove that you stabbed him while using magic. Wait, how did he do it then? She was right. How did he do it? Ice. He used ice. Since the beginning, I've been bothered by the trace of transmutation magic surrounding Flintheart's body. Originally, I thought that the killer had somehow magically altered the sword and the surrounding wooden floor. But none of the Pierce's spell could do something like that. Those transmutation traces were scattered all over the place. They didn't even fully cover the sword. So what if he didn't use a sword? What if he used something else? The defense did cast some doubt on this witness's testimony. Nevertheless, I must conclude that he could not have possibly committed the murder. With that in mind, please wait, Your Honor. We still can't rule out Pierce as a suspect just yet. What are you on about? Lady Stillwind said it herself. None of my spells could be used to stab Flintheart. I don't know any spells that can be channeled through a blade. This one, right? But you didn't use a metal blade, did you? What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If you didn't channel magic through a blade, how could you have possibly committed the crime? Still, when Garrett Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword, he killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword. Does he know the truth? What? I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, I'd like to bring your attention to Pierce's spell compendium. Garrett Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control any liquid and mold it into any complex shape he wants. You can even freeze it, locking that shape in place. If he had enough water, he could create a sword made purely out of ice. No, is it possible that he... What do you have to say for yourself, Lord Pierce? This stubborn little brat? Pierce's breathing became frantic. He clearly wasn't prepared to be backed into a corner like this. I could feel his frustration, stress, and fear emanating through the eye of Horus. The board was set. I just had to deliver the final blow. Oh, okay, we can do this in a trial? Okay. I'll tell you exactly what I have to say, you commoner. I'm not the one on trial here. We're here because that bastard child didn't know her place. I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. The girl used our holy arts to murder her father because she lacked a noble's temperament. Wait, what? What am I supposed to present here? I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. Huh? I mean, we still have this contradiction, right? What do you want me to... Wait, I'm so confused. I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. Why could he not have seen the murder? I mean, we already proved this with this, right? That he was too far away? I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. Do you just want me to present this again? No, that wasn't right. Let me save. I can't save. He claimed to have witnessed the whole murder, but I've already proved that he didn't in last testimony. All I have to do is show the evidence that proved him wrong. Was it not this? Or do you want me to present this? Okay, that's a really... I don't like that. We're just doing the same thing again? And how did you see everything? Also, I think presenting the other piece should have worked as well, but... If you recall, you testified that you only took a single step inside the inn. However, you would have needed to be within 15 feet to see if my client would conjure light. This again? If you're going to keep treading on that one detail, then I admit it. I stepped further into the inn. I kept that out of my testimony, all because I knew that you and Tamara would use it against me. Lord Pierce! But you didn't just withhold that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified the contrary. You committed perjury, Pierce, plain and simple. That's... And let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you would have needed to be within 15 feet of my client. According to his testimony, my client had just finished murdering her father. Wouldn't she have noticed you? If you were that close, then surely you were close enough to apprehend her. So why didn't you? You don't have don't you have duty to your citizen, you lord over? Sorry, that was hard for me. Shut your filthy mouth. The woman was armed. I had no reason to put my life in danger. She was holding a blood-soaked sword. Blood-soaked? I was terrified when I saw her holding that bloody sword. She just murdered a man. I might have very well been next. It doesn't look blood-soaked, right? Or where's the picture? Yeah. Oh yeah, the sword was still in the body. Yeah, good. But that can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? This photo of the crime scene shows that the sword was left inside the victim's body. How could she still be wielding it if it never left the body? What? Damn you! Damn you! Stillwin, why aren't you saying anything? What? Stillwin froze. Even when I had the advantage, she always maintained her usual poise. Now she was scrambling for something to say. Nothing came to her. Lord Pierce, please calm down. How can I remain calm when this charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty. I came here to reveal the truth and testify against that criminal. Or would I get instead slander from some lowly peasant? You talk about justice, but you've committed several acts of perjury to twist the outcome of this trial. You don't care about justice. You're just here to cover up your crime. You filthy little... So admit it, Pierce, you created a makeshift sword with shaped liquid and used it to impale Flintheart. You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon melted. You thought it was a perfect crime, didn't you? Wait, what did you just say? Haha. What? Haha. Lord Pierce. My apologies, Your Honor. Just I realized something absolutely hilarious. The defense has put forward an interesting theory, but there's one problem with it. What's that? I think you said it yourself. You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon melted. You thought it was a perfect crime, didn't you? You're right, it would have been a perfect crime, because any evidence to support that theory would have evaporated with that melted blade. What? No, he was right. Magical traces don't spread through physical contact. They are only detected on the objects they are cast on. If he used a blade of water to kill Flintheart, all the water he used to make that sword would have evaporated by now. He used the juice. That would mean there would be nothing left of the murder weapon. You spent quite the tale here today, but in the end you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? You have nothing. Isn't there anything we can do? I became quiet, thinking through each piece of evidence I'd found. They all fit into place except for one piece. Tyrion, why isn't he saying anything? I knew where she had disappeared. She probably saw the look on my face. It was familiar to her. It expressed the same quiet certainty I had every time I defeated her. I wasn't sure how, but there was something left of the murder weapon. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any trace of transmutation at the crime scene. What is this? You can glare at me all you want. It won't change the fact that you've lost. I despise people like you. You twist this kingdom's law to serve your own ends. You trample on the lives of the people you're supposed to be serving and protecting. But as long as I'm standing in this courtroom, I will never let that happen again. What did I just do? I could feel my head being dragged to the ground. It felt like it was about to burst. At the same time, I felt an extreme sense of clarity. It was as if nothing could be concealed from the eye of Horus now. I can't believe that peasant. He pushed me this far. Once again, I saw Pierce's thoughts, but the sensation felt sharper than it usually was. I could feel his mind reacting to mine, as if it were a pond rippling around me as I stepped through it. I wondered, could I reach further in and pull something I could use? Eye of Horus. You can temporarily project items into the witness's mind and read their thoughts about it. Okay. These thoughts can sometimes reveal new information and grant you insight. Fill the insight gauge to proceed. Sure. This feels kind of cheating. Like, it feels kind of cheating to have this when the prosecution is just like doing this normally, but when we can read people's minds. But after all the trouble I went through, I can't believe that boy figured out which spell I used. Well, no matter, it's not as if there's any evidence that implicates me. Can't we show them this? Can we, like, give them the eye and have them see what he's thinking? I'm lucky that old fool had that bottle of water with him. A bottle of water? Well then, as riveting as this has been, I believe it's time for me to be on my way. Now, wait a minute, Pierce. What is it now, you cretin? I'll say it as many times as you need to hear. There is no evidence of a liquefied weapon at the crime scene. There is. The photo, right? You can see the liquid. You're right, Pierce. If you used shape liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely. Bravo, it seems you finally got enough fact for your thick head. But let's not get ahead of yourself, Pierce. What if you didn't use shape liquid on the body of water? What if it were another type of liquid? What are you going on about? Pierce, shape liquid doesn't just work on water, it works on all kinds of liquids. There was a shattered bottle next to the body. The liquid used to form the murder weapon, it came from that bottle, didn't it? You were probably aware of leaving evidence at the crime scene. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find there. Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. That begs the question, if we had someone analyze a broken piece of this bottle, would we find traces of transmutation magic? Yeah, do you think you can bluff me? I've already established that any water I supposedly shaped would have evaporated. Except the liquid contained in this bottle wasn't water, it was tea. So, what difference does that make? A blade of ice made out of water would have evaporated entirely, but a blade of frozen tea would leave a dried residue. The tea wouldn't completely disappear. No. I wonder why there were so many traces of transmutation scattered around the crime scene. When I felt the texture of the floor, I thought the transmutation spell had caused some sort of a chemical reaction with the wood. But the real answer was a lot simpler than that. The transmutation spell didn't alter the floor at all, it was just a stain from the spilled tea. I bet if we compared the tea residue on the floor to the residue inside the bottle, we'd find traces of transmutation on them. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. Oh. That's cute. You have nowhere left to go, that's checkmate. Bro felt so cool saying that. Bailiff, send for Orm. The Inquisition needs to analyze the crime scene at once. We need to confirm the defense theory. The time window to detect traces of magic is closing. I have the report from the Inquisition. What does it say? The traces on the sword, the body, even the floor, they all came from tea residue. We found those same traces on the shards of the broken bottle too. It's undeniable. Someone cast a spell on the liquid contained within that bottle, and the defendant has no such spell. You really did it, didn't you? Why? As if someone like you would ever understand. Understand? You murdered my dad. Murdered? Murdered? I murdered her. I can't believe it. She's dead. Her smile, her beautiful voice, it's all gone. Oh, are you, Oh, you're the one that killed the Flintheart sister. I see, okay. I deserve death. Stop this nonsense. Father? You're grieving, but it will pass. She was only a commoner. No, father, I loved her, and I killed her. Garrett, you sweet, innocent child. Flowers may be beautiful and bring you joy, but do you call it murder when you accidentally step on one? Aye. These people, these peasants, they may resemble us, but you know deep in your heart that they aren't like us. What? They have the scaled Lord's favor, and they do not. They were created to serve us, to be utilized by those of us who matter. Father, so don't fret so much over a simple commoner. By next month, you'll have completely forgotten about that wretched thing. Ha 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 ha. How could I have been so blind? She was a simple flower, nothing but a worthless peasant. They're all just peasants, all of them. Is it murder to protect my kingdom? Is it murder to pull weeds before they blight my land? That fool of a man was spreading poison, and I did my duty by removing him. You're a monster. I'm a nobleman, a chosen vessel of the scaled Lord's will. You're all nothing. Do you honestly think you can indict me? My words carry more power than 100 of yours. Bailiff, escort Pierce to a holding cell. Stillwind? First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. You can't be serious. You, of all people, must understand the position I was in. Your father knows what it takes to maintain order. If not for me, shut your insidious mouth. I'll never understand your sick, disgusting mind. I soon slit my own throat. Okay. Well, what are you all waiting for? Take him away. Yes, take him away at once. We did it! I can't believe it. We actually won. Wait, we didn't get a not guilty verdict with the confetti. Tyrion, I know, Celeste. Tyrion. Tyrion threw her arms around me, embracing me tightly. I just stood there wide-eyed, looking towards the gallery member who were staring at us. I was unsure of where to put my hands. That was remarkable. Mr. Moore. I'll be honest, when I realized that the murder weapon had evaporated, I thought that the case was over. You did a great job of turning that around. It was just luck. If you'd used water, things would have ended very differently. It had nothing to do with luck, not this time. We were able to deduce which liquid he used, and he did it just by looking at a few shards of broken glass. It was very obvious, Timur. I knew your deductive skills were good, but that was incredible. Was it? It wasn't just deduction, though. I did something with the Eye of Horse today. Something I'd never done before. I had an amazing ability, but I was starting to realize that I knew next to nothing about it. If I wanted to use it effectively, I needed to learn more. You're all quite lively. There's no need for such hostility, though I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker. What does that mean? What did she mean by that? I glanced at Mr. Moore, but she avoided eye contact with me. It was subtle, but her posture stiffened, and her brow clenched ever so slightly. I couldn't see any thoughts through the Eye of Horus. I must admit, I was hoping to test my mind against yours directly. However, your protégé proved to be a worthy adversary. Is it some kind of game to you? You almost condemned an innocent girl to death. The court operates by having two powers of opposition. When those powers are balanced, justice prevails, just like it did today. The Vector's today was just the system working as intended. She's not wrong, but how working as intended. You know very well a system only exists to protect your people. You can act as sanctimonious as you want. That doesn't change that with each passing day your father butchers more and more innocents. I know, but I'm not my father. I walk a different path. I know you have no reason to believe me, so I'll let my actions speak for me. I look forward to doing battle with you again, Cuthbert. Like a fucking shonen villain. Still, why did you arrest Pierce at the end of the trial? I don't understand. He was right in a way. You didn't need to do that. He openly admitted to first-degree murder. Why wouldn't I have him arrested? Never mind then. I'm also looking forward to facing you again. Good. I hope to see you soon. I still couldn't tell what she was thinking, even with the Eye of Horus. She definitely wasn't the bloodthirsty killer that her father was. Well, that kind of killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate. What are you thinking? There's this high-class restaurant in the upper quarter of Ratholm. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone in if they have enough gold. Wait, do we have enough gold? I have some connections with the staff there, don't worry about it. These last 2 days marked the beginning of my journey into the world of law and magic. The justice system was broken. Rotten from the inside, I've added a voice now. I will never stop fighting. With my skills in the Eye of Horus, I knew nothing could stop me. Or at least that's what I'd hoped. Uh-oh. This feeling, I knew it. His radiant soul is finally ripe for the reaping. Even the small speck of time has felt like an eternity. Is this the spooky girl we saw? I can't wait any longer. I can't wait to see that wretched light drain from his eyes. Lord Von Sanctus. William, please, I implore you. I know you're excited, but don't you think we're moving far too quickly? Duke, the head of House Von Sanctus and the Duke of Commerce. His noble house is one of the 4 pillar families. His family is responsible for managing trade and commerce throughout Wyvern. Nonsense, everything has been going according to plan. The head of House Freg and the Duke of Finance, his noble house is one of the 4 pillar families and responsible for tax collection and exchange of resources. House Frega owns and controls every banking house in Wyvern. Lord von Sanctus shifted nervously, his rat-like posture practically shuddering. William Frege, on the other hand, only seemed bothered by Lloyd's incessant chittering. They both held the status of Duke, but only William wore it rather than the other way around. I have advocated for the Arcurians more than anyone else, but I haven't even had enough time to look into them. The Arcurians are an effective yet simple folk. The only thing they care about is filling their coffers, and I'm quite proficient in that language. And what of the Grand General? Who do you think pays for all his soldiers? We may be able to get to the Grand Forces, but his extended family is something else entirely. If you treat them like this, they will respond in kind. Loyalty can be bought, the same as any other commodity. Every house is a weak link. It's only a matter of time before I find his. William, enough. This meeting is an opportunity. They're doing the same sprite. This meeting is an opportunity for us to finally pull the Minister of Justice to our side. I will not squander it. We will take Warvengard from Lucio today. Okay, so you guys are in opposition to Lucio Steelwind. Grow a spine while you're at it. You're a duke for crying out loud. Lloyd just exhaled deeply as he followed William to the meeting room. Oh, they've arrived. Who are these people? Divination. The head of House Sybil and the Minister of Justice, her noble house is in the Four Pillar families and is the most powerful of them. Her family has managed the judicial and legislative branches of Warvengard's government for generations. So you got nothing to worry about, Your Grace. It seemed that the Minister of Justice and the High Speaker had already arrived. Corlin Sybil and Tyrion Archerus were the most powerful people in this room, in theory. They represented the justice system and the church respectively, but both of their heads were always in the clouds. Their dispositions made them more akin to cattle that could be distracted and coaxed with shiny trinkets. Corlin was always ruminating about faith in the cosmos. He would often confuse astrology with philosophy. Tyrion was blinded by his obsession with the Scaled Lord in his stories. William was almost certain that his noble house had written half of those stories. I was worried that something had befallen your convoy. I've been praying to the Scaled Lord for your safety. Getting a lot of characters. The devout leader of the Church of Bahamut. Bahamut? I don't think I've met anyone who reveres the Scaled Lord as much as he does. Is Bahamut the Scaled Lord? You two are late. A mysterious lord who appears to be close to the royal family. Apparently he's a royal advisor to the King of Warvengard. I wonder why I've never heard of him before. Okay, that guy looks very evil. From the looks of it, we're not the only ones. Could the Grand General not be arsed to show up? It's because of his foolishness that we've gathered. That's not entirely true. Really? And what of his recent bloodbath in the countryside? Word in the grapevine says that his men tossed a clergyman from the top of a bell tower. The man is still bloodthirsty. We should check his pantry for children he slaughtered. William, we have assembled here to discuss the lack of unity between the four pillars. Unity? Spare me. House Frege, House von Sanctus, and House Sybil are closer than they've ever been. The Steelwinds is the odd one out. Unity requires trust, and he's has done nothing but spill the blood of the people who trusted him to protect. Does that make sense? He has, not he's has, right? Remove the apostrophe S, I think. His recent actions have been excessive. No one here is disputing that. Our dear Duchess, his excess has merchants refusing to move caravans through the countryside. The commoners are crying for justice and turning to insurrection, something that the Grand General is supposed to be putting a stop to. Okay, I'm glad that this is more measured than I expected it to be. Because when we got stories of like, oh, Lucio is killing people by the thousands in the countryside, I was like, okay, this is stupid. But I'm glad that there's like realistic repercussions. Like even in the medieval age, if there was a general like murdering thousands of innocent people in the countryside, I'm pretty sure that would have pretty dire impacts on like the economy and like the well-being of the kingdom. The other nations whisper about us like we're a barbarian state dressed in fancy robes. Trade a has slow. The Scaled Lord teaches that prosperity is a covenant between every man and Warvengard. House Tyrion carries the burden of protecting Warvengard's borders. As mishandled as these situations have been, he's not massacring these villages for his own amusement. He could have fooled me. A leader wins respect and loyalty. He doesn't hold his people hostage. Mark my words, if this bloodshed continues, the commoner will revolt. These recent insurrections are just a start, and this will only continue if we allow Lucio's daughter to take the throne. If we're discussing Lady Steelwind's marriage to the Crown Prince, surely he should be a part of this meeting as well. Are you talking about the prosecutor? Wait, sorry. If we allow Lucio's daughter to take the throne, when you say take the throne, do you mean... Oh no, are we saying that what's her name? Are we saying that Arya is marrying the Crown Prince? Is that what you're saying? Please, what can that bright-eyed boy contribute to this conversation? The only thing he's good for is holding fundraisers and cutting red ribbons. William, he's the heir to the throne. Come now, the true ruler of Arvengard are all assembled in this room. I'll admit, the House of Lords has received more petitions against Lucia than any other general in Arvengard's history. The Church has also been unable to collect as many tithes as before. Even the most faithful are asking whether this Kell Lord would support such cruelty. Their fate is faltering. This cannot be allowed to continue. Well, look who finally decided to show up. Oh, is that him? I know I'm late. I was caught in the debrief. I find this gathering to be pointless anyway. How dare you, Grand General? Have you no sense of respect? What use would respect be to the ones who can't command it? Will you demand my respect, Master of Abjuration? Well, Leave him alone, Lucio. We're just discussing your recent catastrophe in the countryside. From what I've heard, the death toll has been astronomical. Did you beat your record? If you have something to say, then say it plainly, Frigga. House Frigga would like to move to have the Steel Ones stripped of their authority and control of Arvengard's military. Lord, Coraline and the Church agree with me on this matter. Is that so? I mean, we of House von Sanctus stand with House Frigga on this matter. I'm not like an expert on like politics, but isn't this extremely risky? Because he controls the military. Like, if he wanted, he could just like stage a coup and take over the entire government, right? I'm sorry, Lucio, but it's difficult to argue against what the reports have been saying. I'll bring this matter to the House of Lords. We'll hold a vote. Then the House of Lords should know about what my agents have discovered. The Eastern Kingdoms have joined the Union. What? Surely this can't be true. It is. I'm sure the Ordo Australis will be announcing it publicly within the week. Arvengard is now the only nation in the world that hasn't joined their alliance. In the world? Correct. The only thing acting as a deterrent to our enemies is the high evocation magic of House Tealwind. Do you think the House of Lords will be willing to house the most powerful war mages from our ranks? Lucio. Now, if you're done gnashing your teeth, William, I have to meet with the rest of my house. We'll need to prepare in case the Luminites have become bold enough to bring war to the western border. Why don't you want to join the alliance? And by you, I mean like the nation. Who are the Luminites? Is it people from like from a different country or something? Lucio, wait. Damn it all, since when were those Orientals so friendly with the Ordo Australis? I can't believe the Luminites would suffer the company of those mud-eating savages. Actually, their culture is very rich. I, for one, quite enjoy many of their... You're a weeaboo? Shut up, Lloyd. We'll need to expedite our plans. What? Get the Arcarians on the line. I will have a word with them. They have business with Arcaris? We're brokering a trade deal. I'm sure the House of Lords will be seeing it soon. It seems the Cosmos is in our favor, then. They're the only ally we have left. Stay safe, Coraline. You too, Lloyd. Please tell me these stories aren't true. Lucio. You already know the answer, Your Grace. How could you? I thought you never got involved in matters of the state. People are dying, Lucio. Children are dying under your watch. You truly think me capable of such atrocities, Your Grace? If you do, then strike me down now. You have the power to do so. You know I won't do that, Lucio. And stay out of my way. What has become of all of you? Oh. Pierce, you have a visitor. Stillwin's brat again? I'm in the mood for another sanctimonious lecture. Gary. Jolene? Ha, Tammy's not being kind to you. Really? I think she looks exceedingly good for 46. Excuse you, I'll let you know that I still get mistaken for 20 everywhere I go. I suppose some things never change. Let's get on with it then. What? Go on, yell at me, curse at me. I thought anyone would lift a finger if you opened the cell and beat me half to death. So, do it. Sigh. I forgive you. What? I forgive you for killing my husband, Garrick. Have you lost your mind? Do you think I feel any remorse? Do you think I'm still that weak child? I just don't have the energy for it. I saw what that resentment did to my husband. It festered inside of him like an infection. I'm the only family source left. If only you knew where she really came from. I don't need to. She's reckless, stubborn, and a little spoiled too. She takes after me in a lot of ways, and she takes a little too much after her father. But she's a good person. She's the kindest person I've ever known, and I'm proud to call her my daughter. Then you're a fool. Gary, Flanher didn't blame me for what happened to Effie. That's a lie. All he ever did was blame me. He didn't blame me until you shut yourself away in your manner. We were all in so much pain over what happened, and you abandoned us. And you expect me to apologize for that? Effie always loved that spell. What? Do you remember how she danced in the lake while you shaved the water around her feet? She thought that spell was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. A person died a long time ago. Effie, are you? Ooh. You're a weed. Excuse me? That's all you are, Jolene. A wilted weed on the road, waiting to be trampled over by this cold, wretched world. Do you think yourself virtuous for spewing out such empty platitudes? Admit it, you hate me, you despise me. If you could stomach it, you'd climb into the spell and plunge a bullet into my chest, just like I did to your husband. No, right now I only feel sorry for you. I never thought you were weak. You're the kindest person I knew. I miss that man, but you're right, he's gone now. Good luck with your trial, Garrick. I don't need luck. With my connections, I'll be out of this cell by week's end. Ah! I'll show all of you. Your daughter will be of use to me yet. Okay. It's ominous. A cold-hearted aristocrat. We did it! Is this... am I in chapter 2 now? Or is this like a post-credit scene? How are we going to get all this out in time? The myriad of empty plates lighted around the kitchen filled Valerie with dread. Oh, we saw you in the tutorial. In the tutorial image they had. It was almost time for breakfast, and soon the students would be upon them. Valencia quickly passed by her sister as she snatched a tray off the counter. Twins in the murder mystery, huh? I wonder what they're gonna do with this. She was jumping between multiple stations, but even then, each movement she made was quick and purposeful. The kitchen was a machine, and Valentina just had to turn each gear single-handedly. But in her hands, it ran like clockwork most of the time. Okay, is there any difference between them that I can spot? It could be useful to identify them. I can't... I mean, obviously their face is a little bit different, but I think it's just like their expression. They look... 100% identical. I can't see any difference. Okay. Valerie finished plating the smoked salmon? Right, sorry. Valerie stared at the excess assortment of food they had prepared for the noble children. She grimly remembered the years she and her sister spent starving in an orphanage. Are they even going to eat all of this? They won't. They'll taste a few of them and throw the rest out. It still has to be perfect when it hits the cafeteria. Okay. Valerie watched as her sister lifted each of the croissants. I have a hard time saying French loanwords in English because I just want to say them like how you would say them in French. Like it's hard to say them with the English accent, like croissant. I'll just say them in French. Valerie watched as her sister lifted each of the croissant slices, measuring their width against her index finger. These slices are too thick. It's going to overpower the salmon. Does that really matter? I thought they really liked your croissant. Trust me, if the ratio's off, they will make sure we know. Some of these kids would have us executed for bad plating if they could. Before Valerie could respond, one of the kitchen timers went off. Valentina quickly rushed to the stove and began melting butter in a pot. About that, one of House Frega's attendants came by earlier. Valerie barely glanced away from the pot as she poured a bowl of eggs into it and began beating them. Her face tightened at the mention of Lady Frega. Her whisk moved slightly more violently. What does Miriam want now? She's asking for a roasted peacock. For breakfast? She also wants honey lacquered brioche, bread topped with Arcurian whipped cream and Ixian strawberries. And it gets even better. Just grab me the normal stuff from the pantry when you can. You know that spoiled brat can't tell the difference. Here, stir these eggs for me. Valentina handed her sister the pot of scrambled eggs. Valerie's shoulders tensed. She was great with a knife, but her forays with the stove never ended well. What? But the stove is on low heat. Just keep stirring. Okay. Valentina's mind was already on the next task. She entered the freezer and dragged out the butchered peacock. Luckily, they just received the meat shipment that morning. It hadn't fully frozen yet. She quickly tossed it onto the counter and began weaving cooking twine around its legs. Yeah, Lord, these kids have no idea how good they have it. Valentina Yannis was the Imperial Academy's head chef and pâtissière. Pâtissière? Brewer, butcher, and saucer. The staff that used to fulfill each of those roles were let go one by one, the work of Professor Bellwether and her disdain for the commoners. At first, the twins had welcomed the chance to cook for the children and nobles. The pay was astounding, but it wasn't long before they discovered what this kitchen had seen such a rapid turnover. Hey, you two, how's breakfast going? The Academy's custodian trudged into the kitchen. His posture was heavy, and his eyes were half dead. Same as usual, Jan. How about you? Same as usual. Yeah? I think I'm in case 2 now, because I lost all my evidence, even though I didn't say anything. Valentina recalled the many times she caught Jan napping in the pantry. Oh, Jan, I packed some of last night's risotto on the counter. Val, the eggs! Oh, right. Valentina grimaced as she looked over the pot of eggs. The liquid was no longer emulsified. It was still edible, but it wasn't perfect, something below the Imperial Academy's self-imposed standards. Val, come on, I have to start over now. I only left them for a second. You two look busy, I'm sorry. Valentina pressed her hands together, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. It's fine. Just help me prep the next batch while I'll grab the ingredients for Miriam's food. Okay, I'll... Oh gods. Valentina saw her sister tense up. What was it now? Catherine is coming. She doesn't look happy. Are you serious? What is that prissy little... Hello, Miss Bellwether. Professor Bellwether. What can I do for you today, Professor? Care to explain what this is? The professor presented it... Valentina... I like it says presented in caps, like it's a tutorial when we present evidence. Valentina, with the eggs Benedict that she personally prepared earlier. Look perfect. It was exactly what she asked for, too. I'm sorry, is there something wrong with your breakfast? These eggs are mushy and undercooked. There's no crisp to them at all. Those are poached eggs, Professor. Poached? You know, it's when you boil eggs in a pot of simmering water and... Boil? Do you think this is whatever shelter Renmon plucked you out of? I won't swallow another piece of this rustic gram. Expect a meal befitting of the Imperial Academy. Do it right this time. Right away, Professor. Valentina thought of slapping that Sunni attitude right off her face. It would be easy. She could have done it right at that moment. What did she have to lose? They were already planning on firing her anyway. But she took her breath. Nothing was worth drawing the ire of Bellwether's friends on the school board. Some professor. Who doesn't know what eggs Benedict is? These stupid mages wouldn't look good if it walked up to them and jumped down their throats. Case 2, The Walking Dead. Okay. Let me stop here for now. Save. So yeah, we got that one, case 1. I think case 1 was okay. I mean, it still has the same problem that pretty much every single case 1 has in Ace Attorney games, where it's just like so easy that it's kind of ridiculous. Like that any of these people don't immediately figure out what the answer is. But it is like a tutorial case. I get it. So I guess in the image that I was so confused about, it really was that everything that was transparent had magical traces on it, because the liquid was also transparent. But if that's a case, then I'm even more confused how they didn't instantly figure out what happened, but whatever. I hope that the murders get way more complicated, because I know that is something that some people complain about in Ace Attorney games, but personally that's something I love. Like, I love when the murders are like absolutely ridiculous and super overcomplicated. Like, that's something people complain about a lot in the investigation games, like the Edgeworth games. But I love those games because of that. Like, I love how insanely over the top all the murders are, and how they each have like 20 steps, and like it's ridiculous. Obviously, like you would never commit a murder like that in real life, but I just think it's fun in the context of like solving the mystery and untangling it step by step. And I don't think those games would be as fun to me if the murders were more realistic, you know? Even if it would maybe make for a more cohesive narrative or whatever. I will say something I'm struggling a bit with this game is I feel like there's a big contrast between the tone and what the story is about. Because if we look at the mainline Ace Attorney games, their tone is always like, it has some serious moments for sure, but it's always a little lighthearted, right? It never gets that serious. Like, the worst thing that happens in those games is like innocent people dying. Usually like one person that's the victim or whatever. And maybe sometimes you have like some evil serial killers or whatever. But the tone is always kind of light, and there's nothing too like crazy serious that happens in any of those games, and it kind of fits the tone. But in this, it still has like the kind of lighter tone, but we're talking about like slaughter of thousands of thousands of people, and like the constant struggle and misery of the lower class. It feels a bit rough, and it feels like it doesn't really fit with the tone. But we'll see how that feels like the further we go into the game. Maybe the tone will change, or maybe things will get lighter. I don't know. Like, I'm already thinking, like, does Lucio have some secret motive behind why he's doing all of this? Because the way he was talking, it seemed like he had some master plan, like, you know, for the greater good or whatever. I am kind of digging the political stuff, though. It's not too heavy, like, it's pretty simple. I don't feel like it's taking away from the mystery, and obviously it's going to link back into the mystery later on, whenever we get to the more serious cases. But yeah, I'm still digging this game so far. Also, interesting to note, in the first case, we had several pieces of evidence that never came up. We had several pieces of evidence that were just red herring, like some of the spells in the Killer's Compendium. A lot of those were never used. They were just there for being a red herring, which is something that I don't think ever happens in Ace Attorney. I'm pretty sure in Ace Attorney, every single piece of evidence you get is always used. Except for maybe very rare scenarios, like the end of 2-4. But usually every single piece of evidence you get is always used at least once. So it's interesting that we know for the future cases now that not every piece is going to be used. There can be red herrings. So yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, I'm stopping here for now. Alright, see you next time for case 2.